Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Welsh Esports League, Rocket League. Today we're here with two amazing matches for you, and you're joined again by the Week 1 duo, myself and Sazel. Boy, how are we doing today, Sazel?
I'm doing really good. It's great to be back on the desk with you, Ped, especially after we had such a dramatic first week. And last week I came in and had a dramatic match to go through. So it could be, hopefully, we can combine that and have some massive drama today.
Yeah, drama is definitely one of those things that Rocket League is able to bring. So I'm hoping that, the two teams that we're going to be seeing first can bring that to the table and sort of set the mood for the evening, because I'm sure, both of these teams are ready and roaring. Obviously, we are slightly delayed on the start. We apologise for that. Obviously, technical difficulties and online stuff always goes wrong in certain parts of things. But we're here now. We're ready to go. We're ready to get on with this action. And, I think it should be a good game, the one we're in for right now. We've got the Dragons versus the Robins first for you all, and it's two very strong teams, players who've been in and around RLCS before. Obviously, also in the Welsh national team, you've got a couple of players featuring in there, so it should be a little bit of a battle between them, which I'm always happy to see. Some teammates, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken, for the Wales team, so it's going to be good to see.
It is going to be good to see. You always hate facing against your teammates, especially when you have such a credential to hold yourself, such as we represent the entire country of Wales. I think I've had the pleasure of casting over both of these teams, and both times they have brought amazing matches for us. And, the Robins, sticking to their name, they duck, they dive, they weave, they show us what acrobatic skill they have all across the pitch. And the Dragons, let's see if they can breathe some fire into this match and take themselves to a good advantage. You see straight away the Velocity gets a goal in and kicks it off right before we're able to get any action in. 1-0 to the Robins off the bat.
Yeah, and that's definitely a picturesque start for this team. 4 seconds in and Velocity is able to put that one behind the net. And the Robins there, I know Velocity and Motion prior to the Welsh Esports League have experience together. They are good mates. They do play a lot together in 6 months, so they will already have that chemistry. Likewise, really, with Alice Faines and Benji, I think there were 3 players on that team, on that side of the team there. Those guys all have experience together as well, so it should be quite good to see. But Foxy looking to get that second goal in there, couldn't quite squeeze it past, and Benji will look to take it away. Motion getting a touch, not so great though, and Faines will be able to pick up a shot here, just narrowly missing that crossbar, and now Foxy is going to try and push this one forward. Motion sends it to the backboard. Foxy does get a touch, but he double commits with Velocity, and now Ellis looking to dribble it down the other side, just gets a shot instead, but Motion is able to save that one. Benji back to the backboard. Motion again making a clearance here, putting it away from any sort of danger, and it will be reclaimed again. Back with the Robins team, but I would expect this game, Sales, to be a bit of a scrappy one.
It's going to be a very scrappy one. We've seen a couple demos, or at least attempted demos, going in the middle, so they've got that aggression going for each other, but it's also they've got that strength going for each other. We're seeing it's going back and forth very quickly. It's going all the way to one side of the pitch. Someone has an attempt, and then the players are just quick to defend, quick to pick it up, whether that be an aggressive defense or just a passive defense. They are finding a way to scoop it up and get across the board. We see Motion pick it up quite close to their goal again, and this is going to be a situation that I think is going to happen a lot, where it's going to be someone picks up the ball close to their own goal, has to find a way to get rid of it quickly before they actually either tip it in or fail to get away fast enough for the opposing team to tap it in themselves.
And here's Ellis here, trying to get a 50 down on Foxy, but Foxy's able to away now. Time to take a dribble and look to pass this ball into the centre. The boost definitely not on his side. Velocity finds a shot, but Benji gets up there with a block. Now it's going to be to Motion up onto the side wall now, looking for that pass into the centre. He has Foxy waiting there in the middle for him. He doesn't go for the pass and attempts to push it further himself, and Foxy now taking the ball forward as well, taking it away from Velocity there. Maybe a bit of greed between the two players as Motion now coming off the side wall, looking for that passing field, but Faines takes him down easily. And so far, not a lot of teamwork coming out from the Robins. Maybe something they need to build upon as they go across the game, because there's definitely been a couple of times there in the past 10 seconds where they could have got a pass off and maybe a better shot than what happened instead. But Foxy's going to look to play at the centre here. Maybe the first pass going to Velocity. No shot going to be in, and it will be cleared away again. I think at the moment, ever since that first goal's gone in from the Robins and the Dragons weren't necessarily awake, I'm going to wait and see what happens here before I speak. Before I wait, their defence has been a lot more tight and a lot more compact, and they're not going to be letting any more silly goals in like the first one.
They're not going to let any of those quick goals in, they saw exactly, but it's still getting very close, and they're letting the Robins get super close to their goal and leave it quite open Velocity score another one there. So just as we said that they were easy to slip that goal in for very, very early on in the game, they just find that very, very easy pocket of hope to go for again. It looked like it was going away where it hit the side, it hit the post, but it just rolled straight on in, and there's no way you can defend that because, you know, as an attacker you think, I've missed it. As a defender you think, that I've not got to go for it, that's gone to the side. It's 2-0 with 2:15, and it looks like it's going to go in favour of the Robins, but the Dragons have got the skill and potential to bring it back quite soon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we haven't really seen too much on the offense from them so far, and we could possibly, hope to see a little bit more from them on that front as Ellis tries to take it across to Benji. The pass definitely was there. The shot, though, unfortunately wasn't to be. Now Motion is going to run away with the ball a slight bit here, looking for that pass down centre again. He gets the flip. He uses the flip, gets the shot off, but Benji gets the save. Velocity shot as well, blocked by Benji. Foxy looking to keep that pressure on. He's going to flip with it once more, looking to pass it in. He will get that in somehow. I think the original shot was in, and then the follow-up just able to block that one off on the defender and put it in, almost like a League 2 centre-half.
Yep, they put it in quite well. The Mason 90 to give alongside it, but that's those sort of goals that you can go in for. We've seen a couple just easy tapping goals, and now we're starting to see those goals come with a bit more technicality, a bit more round remedy to them. We see Motion goes for another one there, doesn't quite get it all the way through, but that would have been a spectacular goal to see if it had gone through. And the Dragons now, they form behind 3-0. They've got a minute and a bit left. I don't think it's going to be a very good situation to try and get the game back straight away. Maybe re-envision what they're going to go with and then change it up for this next game. They can still maybe take it, but it's still be nice to take a slower pace. Don't let the fatigue get to you. Don't let the agony get to you, and just play a defensive play, wait to be and strike later on. Motion wants to try and break through that, but doesn't get too far as it is played straight back to Benji to get it off across the field.
Yeah, Benji back into the centre here. Good pass, but no one's going to meet it. Vanes, though, get that slamming 50 on Foxy, and it will not be a goal. It'll hit the post again. Seems to be the biggest enemy and the biggest player at the moment for the Robins team, keeping that ball away, the posts and the crossbar, the two sticks and the one above. But Foxy trying to dribble that one back into the centre. Ellis gets the clearance away. Zero boost, picks up the 100. Trying now to follow this shot. Motion is going to find the velocity though in the centre, and the play will build on the opposite side as Foxy puts it towards the net. It's not going to be on target, and it will be cleared away and dealt with very quickly from the Dragons team. Now with 30 seconds remaining, Vane's trying to find the first goal for the team this game. They've only had 6 shots, which doesn't seem like that little of a number, but most of them have hit the post of the crossbar, and they haven't really been too threatening, and I don't think they've got that close to scoring yet, in my opinion. They could do with finding themselves a goal maybe here in the last 10 seconds, just for momentum's sake. Otherwise, this team of the Robins will not give them a single second to breathe, and they will take it away completely. But it looks to be like this game is going to be ending 3-0 in favour of the Robins, who will take the first game of this best-of-5 series.
Yeah, Robins taking that with immaculate fashion, and they're showing they really want to go ahead and take the rest of this series. As we've just both said, though, you can see this is a learning curve for the Dragons. You can see them taking this and saying, okay, we went down 3-0. We didn't get any momentum towards the end of the game, so we still have that goal deficit, but they can still try and bring it back a little bit more in those next couple of games. If they can take the rest of this best of 5, where they have been showing they have got that power to get the ball across the field and close that net, they can maybe go ahead and make a surprise few goals. I think, though, it is going to be that case where it's going to be tit for tat, it's going to be rough, it's going to be aggressive, because they both have a lot of caliber going behind them, and they both want to trickle it over to give themselves the win.
Yeah, I mean, just there, based off the stats, we do see 11 shots from the Robins and only 6 coming from the Dragons, so 5 shots in between it, and 3 goals between the two teams. It just shows, the criticality elements from the Robins, able to put those shots in. They did have a lot of unlucky times as well, where they were trying to squeeze the ball below the crossbar and the post, but the Dragons definitely weren't able to squeeze it past the crossbar or the posts, and I think that was their biggest enemy, probably on the side of the Robins. So this game, they'll be looking for a better element of shooting and a bit more consistency and accuracy in the shots, so they can try and find themselves a win. But my prediction from the start, probably looking at the two teams, was to go with a sweep for the Robins anyway. I'm not sure if you're on the same sort of page as me, but I think the Robins are going to take this one free.
I think I've seen what I've had from the Robins in previous casts and just all throughout this tournament. They have just been very dominating. A couple of times they slipped behind after getting a bit greedy in that first game, but I think with what we saw in that first game, it is going to be a case of where it's going to keep taking games. If they lose, it will be close. It will be a 1-0 loss or it will be a 2-1. Those sorts of losses that you can happily take because you know you played very, very well. It starts off a little bit slow with a little bit of aggression in this early game, so it's going to be nice to see if the Dragons can take lead on this and really put a lot of pressure on, as we see Veins is straight on the attacking aggression, and the ball is quite comfortably in the Robins half, which is where they didn't like it being, as Benji scores that first goal there.
Yeah, we didn't see a single goal last game, and now in 30 seconds, we have seen the opening goal come from the Dragons, and that's exactly what we needed to see from them. First game already shown, coming in here, finding that first goal. A lot of time left on the clock, though, so a lot of things can still happen in this game, but it's definitely a good start, a good building block now to place down to build upon. But really good touch there from Benji. Foxy looking to play that one into the centre. All three players from the Robins are up for that one. Doesn't get a very good touch on it, and it will go straight up to the Dragons, who trying to find that ball into the back of the net, can't quite do so. Velocity's there, but Ellis beats him, and that might just be straight in, but Motion makes a great save. The follow shot from Benji's going to be wide, but Motion clears it anyway, and now starts to form an attack for his team, the Robins here, who do see themselves 1 goal down for the first time in the entirety of the series, when they had 1 game, of course, so that's not to be unexpected, but yeah, 3 minutes 50 seconds left. It just seems like Robins at the moment are just trying to get the pace into this game, but Motion's touch was nearly critical, and it possibly will be. Oh my word, I think Foxy in the end was able to score on his own net. I don't believe that was going in if Foxy didn't jump down, so a very unfortunate series of events, really. Motion passing it down and Foxy pinching it off the ground into the back of the net, giving now the Dragons a 2-0 lead.
Dragons have woken up a bit now, and they're showing why they're on top of this table. 2 really good goals in the space of a few minutes. It isn't what we saw from the Robins, obviously, where they were scoring over and over again in quite close succession, but it's still enough to keep the Robins on their toes, and it is enough to show them, you know, that they're not completely asleep, not completely out of breath. They were just having a bit of a warm-up game. It is kind of floating back and forth, though. It's now going from where it was a dominant hold in the Robins half. It is now getting quite a strong hold in the Dragons half. We do see an amazing shot on goal there between both Ellis and Velocity, and I believe Foxy had a chance of that too, but it did not quite go very far because they kind of all really want that goal, and I think they're getting a little bit shaky, a bit scary now, because they know that they're behind these 2 goals, and one of them wants to get that first goal in, boost them morale, and push them further. Ellis, though, is just demanding this field, and Ellis and Benji were doing amazingly to keep that control in the Robins half and make sure that the Robins aren't getting any further than the halfway line, so they can go back and back and back to try and get another goal in. With 2 goals up, you can quite comfortably do that because you know that you have that big cushion.
Oh! 2 goals, I think it's free, because Benji just meets the pass from Ellis there. The chemistry element definitely coming in, and it comes off the back of another very heavy touch from the Robins defense onto their backboard, and it's just going to be picked up and put into the back of the net to make it free. And Dragons this game are not missing the net, not hitting the post. They are making sure to punish the Robins for the plethora of mistakes that they are making this game. It doesn't seem like they are playing the exact same way as they were in the previous game, but then again, it does seem like the Dragons have definitely picked up pace a little bit, and they know what to do now to beat this team, which is really good to see, because Veins looking now to find a 3rd goal for his team here, 4th goal rather. Benji gets the double tap in, and wow, it just seems like a changed team coming into game 2, and this Robins team can't keep up with them at all.
They cannot keep up. They are just having rings run completely around them. Benji is having some spectacular goals, left, right, centre, you name a position, Benji has scored a goal from there, and it's really letting their wings spread, letting that fire be breathed, and they are bringing themselves into the depths of this match. It's only game 2, so anything can happen. Both these teams, of course, in the top 4 of the overall table, so they both kind of know what they're doing. Velocity gets a commiseration goal. That could be the start to something new. We could see it maybe being a 4-4. Again, these teams both in that top half of the table are really, really happy to just go from a 4-0 deficit to come back and go for a 4-4. Can it be done? Maybe, but will it be done? That is something to show, because the Dragons can just play defensively and comfortably now. And we've got 2 minutes left. You can either just hammer a goal in, or you can quite happily sit back, relax, and just stop the opponents from getting it. Foxy, though, really wants to break that routine. It was quite far ahead, and now it looks like the breath has gone to the Robins, who have that taste of a goal in this game too, and know that if they can go ahead and get it, if they just get 3 more goals and nudge it to an overtime.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting game, number 2. It just seems like the defensive clearances and touches that these players have been going for have just not been hitting the mark. They've been hitting the backboard and their own net, which they do need to work on, because it's not going to be too effective of a strategy. But I do think on the side of the Dragons here, the best strategy for this final minute and 30 seconds is probably to play how they've been playing. Just play with that possession, play with the pace upfield, because we did see in the previous game they played a little bit more back and defensive and they got absolutely hammered because of it. And now possibly meaning either last game they weren't warmed up or they are not as strong on the defensive front as they are on the offensive front, which we can clearly see this game has been working for them. So I don't think for them changing anything will be a wise decision. But I do think, the time's definitely against the Robins here. So even if they did go defensive, it would be a difficult task. But Velocity's got a great shot in there. That was absolutely exceptional placement. I did not think he was going to get that angle from where he was on the field, especially with the way the ball was bouncing down. But he's able to just use the side of his car there to get it in. I'm not too sure what happened with Vanes. I think Ellis got a little bump on him accidentally there, a team bump. And now it definitely brings the game on 1 minute and 6 seconds here. 2 goals to catch up to get it equal.
It's going to be 2 easy goals. I don't think even the players there thought they got and scored that. I thought they were just going for a pass and just trying to hope someone got it. But as you said, Vanes and Ellis didn't really help with a bit of an accidental bump into each other and also the opponents, allowing that ball to follow on through. But of course, now that is a high that can be ridden on. The Robins have only got to score 2 goals in the space of a few seconds, but Benji does clear that up, make it a bit of a one and done deal, getting that 5th and I believe their 4th goal of this game, possibly even the 5th. I don't even believe the other players have got a touch of that goal line. So going for the 5-2, just an amazing bit of a buffer, and with 44 seconds left to make it now, they have to score 3 goals for overtime. It's going to be a lot harder for these Robins to do, and the Dragons have just taken control of this game again and again and again.
Yeah, 5 goals coming from Benji this game. Benji's been amazing. Maybe make that 6, not just quite yet. But no, yeah, every goal of this game for his team, Benji has been scoring. Velocity there, probably missing one of the easier chances he's had today, but it's going to be passed back up to Foxy, who does slot it in. They do want to try and make this comeback attempt here. They've got 24 seconds to do so. It's not impossible, but it definitely is difficult, and it does require a lot of character from these players and a lot of whiffs coming from the opposite side of the Dragons for this to actually occur. 24 seconds now, though. 3 players strongly wanting this game to go in their favour. But again, Ellis and Benji are just going to be able to play this one with Vanes there as well. Just be able to play it a bit slower and try and slow down the pace and take some time off the clock here. But the final 15 seconds now, Ellis clears the ball away. It does seem like any sort of chance of a comeback is off the cards now as Benji's driving it forward. With Ellis now getting that slow 50, it definitely will not be a comeback attempt. But nevertheless, it would be a good bit of momentum to come forward now for the Robins as they come into game number 3. Tied at 1-1. The Dragons played an exceptional game, but it did seem like towards the last 2 minutes of that game, maybe the Robins definitely started to wake up and started to play a little bit more like the Robins that we've seen in game number 1.
Yeah, it does look like they're starting to play a bit more like they want to be. The Dragons, they woke up a bit. They were really happy to start getting that really good lead. The momentum kind of shifted halfway through, but once that happened, they just picked it up again. They picked up every bit, every piece they needed, and they just went and hammered away that victory. I think they got a little bit shaky when they had those 2 goals go past them. We did see Benji then kind of had that wake-up call for both the Robins and the Dragons, getting that 5th goal in, allowing them to have an extra cushion. The Robins again retaliate, getting that 3rd. So even though they haven't gone and completely lost that match, they have they've taken the narrow loss, which is what I said might be coming from these 2 teams, and it gives them a good goal differential going in when that used for tiebreakers. It's also given them a bit of morale boost going to this next game, knowing they did get completely hammered home like they did to the Dragons in that first game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think if it's something to take advantage of there. 5 goals from Benji, but all 5 goals were assisted. And that's something that you don't often see. Sometimes, a solo goal comes in there. But this team orients around team plays and passing the ball around with some high-speed plays. Obviously, a lot of whiffs came out of the Robins then to make 5 goals go in. Even an own goal was partly one of them. But no, passing plays, really, really fast, really, really effective plays to just take this team down rather than a very opposite approach from the Robins, who I do believe is going a little bit more on the front of solo plays and trying to go a bit more mechanical, which possibly might not be the best tactic and strategy to go against this team. But we definitely have seen that Dragons are stronger on the offense than they are on the defense. I think even last game towards the end did prove us that point. So maybe possession-based play is the best way for them to go forward here. But nevertheless, a good start from both teams. That's going to fall towards the side, and Velocity will get another early goal, and this could be deja vu from the first game.
it could be a case of that amazing deja vu, especially if we're drifting around in these cars today. But it is going to be, something that is going to bring a bit of a shock to the Dragons, because they had a demanding lead in that first game. They had an amazing run for getting that first goal, but now it's a case of Robin's got that first goal again. Ellis though pulls it straight on forward, but gets a bit too greedy of the timing and allows a massive demo to happen, meaning Benji has to be able to pick up the pieces. So now we're seeing these players, they know their rhymes and their remedies, but they're not really executing them quite well. I think they're both in this position where they're waiting for that perfect second, and now that we've seen that it's gone back and forth of Robin score first, Dragon score first, it's going to be something that goes over and over again in the back of their heads, and it's going to be something they're going to have to try and control as it hits the crossbar there, and it goes, back and forth over and over again. So it's going to be nice to see how to get players adapt to this game, because it seems now that it's very demanding, with the Robins pulling it right back to their own goal, only to skyrocket it all the way through to the opposing side.
Yeah, very, very good defence so far from the Robins team. They have not let anything break through just yet, but obviously every time I seem to bring that up with every other team, a goal does go in seconds later. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. Else keeping the pressure high, playing it off the backboard there, it's going to bounce back. Foxy taking it to the sidewall. Got a little bit of time now to take this ball forward, but he gets it right towards Benji, who will just clear this one away. Motion gifted a lot of time though on the ball. Whether the boost is there is a different question, as he just plays it into the centre. Foxy gets the beat there, now able to start an attack, plays it towards Velocity. Velocity trying to find a 50 or a bump or something there to create a goal for his team, not able to do so. And now Benji might get a shot here, but Motion coming from the ceiling to stop that one. Very, very nice indeed, as Velocity keeping it open, keeping the ball moving, keeping it fast upfield. Plays it onto Motion. Foxy takes it on the floor. Velocity there, trying to play it, but he can't quite get there, and he does miss, and that'll give Benji possibly an open net, but he plays it across to Ellis, who will slot this one in, and there you go again. Rather than taking it himself, he played the pass, and another pass and play, another team play will go in here for this Dragons team.
Yeah, the Dragons are just showing that when you play as a team, you do amazingly. The Robins are playing as a team. They're doing very well to keep that sort of status and that structure going, but they're not playing it in the same way these Dragons are playing it. The Robins are playing in a team in the back half, and as soon as they get as close to goal as possible, they seem to break up, they seem to deteriorate, they seem to become a one-man show depending on who's just up there and ready. Whereas the Dragons, every time a player has the ball, there is someone to the left, there's someone to the right, and there's someone who is happy to drop back to defend that goal in case something goes south. And that is what's just allowing them to have such control now as they go for another shot from really far out, and Foxy comes on in to make that great save. So I think maybe the Robins can start copying what's happening here. They can start to build more of a team effort and go up together, stay back together, and just have a bit more communication behind the scenes to show that they can really, really work on that. 1-for-1 at 2-minute 12, and it could be anyone's game right now, especially with the sort of stuff we've seen in the first two games prior to this.
100%. Motion onto the backboard. Velocity going up fast. A demo as well from Motion. The ice broken from that 1-1 deadlock we were sat in moments ago. Motion with a brilliant 50 and a great demo. Velocity had nowhere really of doubt in his mind. He just had to place that ball towards the net. And as a player of his calibre, that's not a problem. 2 minutes remaining now. 2-1 sat up here with the Robins. Back to leading terms in game number 3. Motion will look now off the backboard to pass it towards Foxy. He's there on the side, waiting, taking it forward, gets the first touch, looking for the second, but it will be Velocity who follows that touch up. Benji to the ceiling from his backboard, touches it right down to Ellis, which will just go straight back to Motion, who does miss that touch actually, but Velocity was sort of expecting that, waiting behind him, making sure that he can reinforce any touch that Motion gets. Benji again clearing it away. We are starting to see a game of tennis happening at the moment as the ball keeps pinging from side to side, with not much action towards the net happening. It seems to be getting stuck in the corners at the moment, which is arguably the best defensive position to be in the corner. You don't want to let it go into the centre field at all. Velocity, though, nearly making it 3-1 and probably closing the game off there, just unable to do so. Great defending from the Dragons, is able to keep this ball out just for a second longer. As Motion now and Foxy going up together, trying to find a goal, but they need to be careful on those double commits because it will come back to bite them as there's only 1 minute left. And it might just have happened. Oh my word.
They're teasing us with these ones right now. They are absolutely teasing us, so they're keeping it under control and under wraps. Ellis is keeping it very, very close to that goal, and we're just seeing some comfort being played here where it's just coming down to his last dwindling seconds. Either team can take it. Ellis goes for another one, doesn't quite get it in, and it feels like the prediction could change either way. We keep saying that X team is going to win this game, and the second we say that, it just switches and the other team turns on. Robins haven't controlled this lead in the last 30 odd seconds, but it could go to anyone. It is pivoted right across to their side of the field. So it's going to be nice to see what maybe happened behind the scenes to allow for those goals to go in. It was as Robins taking advantage of breaking through the scene that was a strong defense, but they did it amazingly, allowing for play to continue. But there is a bit of play from Ellis and Benji here, but doesn't quite get all the way here. All we have to see is the ball being put into a goal or brought down to close it off. And the Robins take this game, making it goes 2-1 to them in a very, very close match again.
Yeah, they are very, very close to these two teams. Surprised if we end up at a Champions Field best of 5. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But the two teams, playing really exceptionally well. It does seem like both of them are having their streaks on defense. Both of them are having their offensive time as well. The game's probably split half and half. Really, I wouldn't see much difference in possession for the two sides, because they both do have their opportunities forward and controlling possession. But I would say Robins towards the end of that game definitely started securing a lot more possession. And a lot more time. But it's a really interesting game to sort of watch over, because the Dragons there did hit the crossbar a couple of times, whiffed a couple of shots as well. That probably could have took them and maybe even won the game if they did just put them in the net. So maybe next game, that's something for them to work on. Just make sure you're not putting those balls across goal, put them actually in the back of the net and not onto the crossbar or the post. So I'm really interested to see where this one goes, to be honest, because at the moment it's quite hard to call who'd win this series just yet.
It is getting a hard one to tell. Like you said, time will tell, because both these teams in that top 4 half of the table are really, really wanting to go ahead and get it. They're not really, like, no one is, like, fully losing. No one is, like, getting completely destroyed. That game 1 seemed to be a fringe case. It was very much a case of the Robins were awake a bit more, the Dragons knew their ins and out a little bit less, so it went 3-0 to the Robins. That game 2, the Dragons, they woke up, they were happier, they were more comfy, so they were able to go ahead and then control the play a lot more. And it's going to see if this is going to be the same sort of retaliation going into game 3. They're probably going to be a little bit annoyed that they lost it to a last-second goal, essentially. So it's going to come back to, can we try and mitigate that sort of stuff happening? And they saw the sort of goals that we lost were the same ones that they were coming from every time, which is a silly little mistake, opening up a narrow passage, or even just a random angle that the Robins could slot into. Benji goes and scores another goal for this match, so putting it 1-0 up again. So maybe Lightning is striking twice, and we're just seeing a metronome of a game. It goes win for one, win for the other, and we could be ending up that amazing match 5 if we can't see players pick up the pieces from where they are right now.
Yeah, again, I mean, a very fast start for either team, and it seems to be when they get a fast start, I mean, the way it's going at the moment is the first team to score is the team that ends up winning the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do that again here. It'd be a very, very nice way to take it into game number 5. But, let's hope history doesn't repeat itself for Robin's sake. They could end it here and now. They don't have to keep this one going if they don't want to, but it depends on how they are able to perform now. Being 1 goal behind, I'm sure, some tactics and some strategies to go forward will change for this team. As again, though, another double commit off the backboard. We've been seeing it all game. They've been getting away with it quite often. But that's going to be a pinch in the net, and that's going to be a goal. I mean, I don't know whether that was meant to be a pinch or whether both players were just too eager to go for the ball, because they have seen a lot of double commits nevertheless from the team. Whether that was calmed or not, interesting one. But no, I mean, off the back of the double commits all the time, we need to see Dragons starting to punish them for it a lot more often, because these double commits are going to prove deadly if Dragons can get onto the end of them and start punishing them for it.
It is going to be a punishment. Like that goal there, as you said, it was kind of hard to tell who really wanted to go for it and who was the catalyst and the cause in that goal. But still, it was a goal nonetheless, and it kind of caught the Dragons sleeping. They just left a wide open valley for both players to sneak through, and one of them had a strong opportunity to go through. Velocity, though, scores a screamer from that position there. Is playing back and forth tussle with some aerial plays and managed to scratch it in one of those angles that they've been doing it over and over again, this time in the top corner. So they're just going for those awkward angles that no one can really save. It's a sacrifice you can make. If you get it in, it goes in. Amazing goal. If you don't, it's hit the crossbar at a weird angle that it's going to bounce back to one of your players. They can probably pick up the pieces, be defensive, be offensive, and do something. Thanes fails to get it there, and it pulls straight back out. Another open field for Velocity to run through. Luckily, Benji is there to come back and stop it from happening.
Yeah, wow, an absolutely incredible goal, though, from Velocity there. I mean, it came out of nowhere almost as well, and that's what's so good about this Robins team, that they can just pounce out of nowhere. it's almost like a line in that sense. They'll be calm, they'll be collective, and then all of a sudden, bang, straight away, when you're not expecting it, they'll come through and they'll get that goal. And really good stuff from them so far. I mean, this game's nowhere near from over yet. I do believe there's a lot more goals in this one before we do reach the final whistle. But wow, from a game that was 1-0 back to 2-1 to the Robins, you wouldn't have expected it, but they have definitely responded in the correct way this time to going down 1 goal. And they're doing it the right way as well, as Foxy plays it back to Velocity. This might be free. What a save from Ellis, keeping that one away. And now Starve the boost motions, trying to race back. Benji trying to get the ball forward as fast as he can here. All the players racing towards this ball to see who can find the goal. And nearly a save attempt there, but it's going to be Vanes who's able to find the goal. It does come off with the back of one of the players there in defence. I believe it was maybe Foxy there off the back of his car, and it does just bounce in. He can't really do anything to save that one there. And it's back to tied terms again, 2-2.
It's 2-2, and another amazing goal. One of those ones that just comes out of nowhere. Vanes plays in down the middle, and it's a case of, you have to come back to that, and if you can try and stop it. But because Foxy's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it seems everyone was in the wrong place at the wrong time at that moment, because Benji had the most open of open goals you can think of from the other side of the field, and no one expected that. Another screamer, 3-2 to the Dragons, and they have really woken up. If not, Lady Luck has decided to join their side, and they are going to be taking a lead here at 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, another example there of a double commit which cost this time. The Dragons made them pay with the shot just from their own half, and now they've tested the waters once with a shot from the back ball. I'm sure they'll try and put a few more pop shots off and see how the defence is doing, because I've said it all game, the position in defence for this Robins team has not been there. They've all been double committing, they've not been staying in the net, they've been going for boost, they've been all up in the same half. They're all in the same place sometimes, which just makes it very, very easy to slot that goal in, especially if you place it in the right way or you get enough power on it. And yeah, it's something that the Robins need to watch out for, but also something the Dragons need to make use of whilst they still can. And who knows, we might see ourselves in game 5. But 3-2, there's still 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here. Vanes trying to make any shadow of doubt of them losing this game go away. Ellis is going to try and put this goal in. He gets the double tap as well, and there you go, 4-2. The gap's getting bigger, and I'm sure the Robins aren't going to be happy about this one.
The Robins are definitely not going to be happy with this, especially when a lot of their goals are coming from the same sort of stuff they were exploiting in the Dragons earlier on. In the first few games, the Robins were exploiting the Dragons, failing to hold a strong defence, going for awkward angles, going through, and now we see the Dragons doing the exact same in return. Awkward angle, they've ticked the box. Open goal, they've ticked the box. Breaking the defence, they've ticked that box too. It goes on through, and it seems like the Robins are just letting it fall back and then playing what they can. And the speed, velocity, and motion do pull that forward, as they do get a bit of advantage on it. But it's still a case of behind so many goals, we do see it fires straight across. Foxy lucky enough to get a hold of that. But Ellis and Benji are really, really happy to just kind of hover around these walls. If they want to go up, someone's there. Want to go from the middle, someone's there. If they want to go anywhere, someone is there to collect the ball. 4-2 if he misses to go, but the Robins get it through Foxy, a 4-3, and we could see them score another one. I don't want to put too many eggs into one nest, because it is going to be a case of scoring in his last 57 seconds. We know the Robins can do it. We know the Dragons know they can do it as well. Will this be a case of just brute force to stop a goal, or will it be brute force to claim that goal for overtime? Because they are closer and closer to just taking a swift sweep in this series.
Yeah, 100%, and it's almost destined to be in this game. I mean, again, with that goal, all 3 players were upfield, but it did go in, so they got away with it this time. And I'm liking the physical plays coming out, especially from motion. He seems to be taking the defender out quite often there, and scrambling the defense a little bit. Velocity though, having a chance to shine. It's off the post, and it will be followed up. But what an original attempt by Velocity though. He was able to find an incredible angle again. He played the first touch over Ellis. This second one was nearly spectacular. Vanes put awkward off the bounce and motion. Just following that one closely, making sure it goes in the back of the net. We're back to a tied game, and there could possibly be a chance to nick this game before overtime with the last 28 seconds that they've got left.
It could be a chance to nick it in this last second with an amazing attempt there. Again, just the angles are being played perfectly. I think Vanes might have had a bit of an awkward touch on it before it went in, but still, again, both players were those angles that force that sort of mistake where if it doesn't go in, it might rocket off of someone and go back in anyway. Velocity is playing in the air. They don't want to go down to the ground. They take a shot quite close to the goal from aerial, doesn't go in, and now they take another one, and it just bounces off the line there. And it's an amazing return play.
Oh, no!
We see it scurry all the way back.
Oh my word!
overtime. The second it bounces on that line, teams must be holding their breath right now, because that would have been an amazing way for the Dragons to take it, and a heartbreak for the Robins as we go into this overtime, where the Robins can take the game and just set and win it all for now.
Heartbreak definitely in order there for the team, the Dragons. All he had to do was touch it and it'd go in, and he just couldn't catch up to the ball in the end, and it did result in an overtime being called. But wow, that's definitely an eventful way to fall into an overtime. A very last minute panic for both sets of players. But here's Velocity now looking to get this ball clear. 35 boost to his name. He can't get that second touch, and it will be taken by Vanes, who puts the shot on net. Foxy plays it forward. Now Velocity looking for motion on the right side of him. He does play the pass, but Velocity doesn't actually communicate with his teammate well enough for the motion to be there. And I'm not too sure whether that could be the problem with this team at the moment, the communications, because they are all challenging for almost every ball. There's at least 2 players up behind that ball, and it has worked up until now, and that's somehow not gone into the top corner of the net. Nearly another own goal, but it does stay out, and Motion will deal with this one swiftly, and he just needs to flip reset. He nearly gets it. It nearly turned into a fake. It was nearly a double jeopardy kind of act, but it didn't work in the end, and now Vanes will be able to clear the ball away, and this overtime will be going on much longer.
Overtime will be going on for longer and longer. I've had many games in my past year where teams like this who have gone face to face have taken overtime to as much as a whole match worth of gameplay. Hopefully for the sake of these players, they don't want to be going that far. They, the Dragons want to get this game done and over with so they can maybe go ahead and take it to a game 5. Whereas the Robins want to get it over and done with so they can say they've won this. And now we see Motion, though, is the one to claim that goal and take the set. So we did bite our tongue a little bit too soon, and we were going to say that it wasn't going on for a while. But as soon as we say that, Motion taps it in from that signature play we've seen this entire set, from an awkward corner, bringing it down 5-4 after overtime, and the Robins take this game, set, and match. What an amazing one to cast over to open our stream today.
Yeah, brilliant series. It could have went either way, to be honest. It could have went all the way to game 5 if Vanes would just tap that overtime Fernanza in before it went into the overtime. But obviously, that was not to be the case. The Robins probably deserved win, actually, from the comeback that they made in the final minute of that game, getting 2 goals under their belt and able to win it in the overtime. So really good stuff from both teams, but the Robins just edging them in the end there. I think the mechanical skill definitely paid a big price for that one. But no, that is just one of the 2 games that we have for you this evening. We'll be back very, very shortly after a short break with the second one. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Get your popcorn, and we'll see you very, very soon. Welcome back. Welcome back to Esports Wales Rocket League. We're here now in the second game. We have got the Robins again, but this time we see them face off against the Ghost. Be victorious in the first game, 3-1 over the Dragons. And now myself and Sazel are going to be hoping to see them take another game off of Goats, who haven't been doing too great this season, but maybe there's a chance for them to redeem themselves against one of the strongest teams in the bracket. So we are very, very excited for this one, aren't we, Sazel?
We are quite excited, because we did just come hot off the heels of the Robins taking down the league leaders. Of course, the Goats, we were having a quick discussion about them behind the stage, and they seem like a rogue team, because it's like they're like not doing too good. They've won a game, they've won a series, I should say. So they're doing well in that factor, but they still haven't really won the amount that the Robins have won. But you can never let that be the binding force behind saying, is a team going to do good, is it going to do bad? They are going to be, bringing themselves the name the Goats, so maybe they are going to show they are the greatest of all time, and they're going to take down one of the teams that are arguably the greatest of all time in this league in what could be a shocker. But that'll come down to maybe if their teamwork is really good in their camaraderie, if they're really happy to navigate the field in a way that maybe the Robins aren't quite comfortable to do. And they do kick off straight away, and quite expectedly, the Robins do just win the kickoff. DJ is coming into the field here over Velocity, so maybe there's a bit of a substitution due to fatigue, maybe just based on the team style they're placing into. I'd like to see what that change makes in the flow of this match.
Yeah, and that's definitely not going to change anything between Motion and Foxy, as they just brute force their way into the net there. Foxy taking a touch, Motion clearing the way for him to get that one into the corner. And already in 18 seconds, we do see the Robins capitalise, take the first goal. So yeah, DJ, I think, he's a very, very strong player. Obviously not with the same roster, but definitely was making a move with the roster that he was with. So it's, not the worst substitution in the world. He's not hold the team back in any way, shape or form. He's came in and done the team a solid, probably. Maybe Velocity had to go. Maybe he didn't feel like playing after the last game. But either way, he's here to prove himself now to this team, and hopefully to help Robins assist them to a victory.
Hopefully that victory it does come by, and hopefully it is one that is very, very good. The Robins right now seem to be playing a little bit cheekily. They probably know there is that big gap between them and this team they are playing against, so they're quite happy just to kind of say, you know what, if we mess up because of a bit of a silly tactic, we can mess up, we can pick up the pieces down the line. They're 1-0 up, and they're controlling it quite well. We are seeing the Goats are being a very, very good at bringing the ball back into the positions they want to, and nearly getting a couple of goals. It's just coming down to that angle they need to really perfect going into it. And again, as we see here, it just comes straight back, it goes to them, Motion can just run it straight forward, and the Goats are defending quite well, but their offense just isn't there. I do say that though, as DJ gets one from quite far out. 2-0 to the Robins in a timeline we can probably predict from what we are seeing from both teams right now.
Yeah, interesting defensive tactic and strategy there. I'm not too sure what they were going for in the defense. That was a very free goal for DJ, just to tap in there and open up his scoring of the day. But it's going to be cleared away there from Natsumi. DJ taking that touch. Natsumi looking to 50 that one, put it back into the centre, flicking it onwards at Foxy. 50 there, RL Hazard, and it bounces off Foxy. Jasmine will be credited with the goal in the end. And a very interesting display of events here. I'm not quite sure what happened. It seems like Jasmine brute forced onto Foxy's car, pinching the ball with the bump, and it does end up at the back of the net. 1 goal back now for the Goats. It's definitely something you want to see. A good little start for the game and the start for the scoring. It's not all one-sided, which is good to see. Makes it a good series to cast over. DJ keeping the ball going. 54 boost. Foxy going to be taken away from Motion, though. That's going to be put to DJ on the right side. Now Jasmine and DJ, good 50 from DJ, keeping that ball onwards now. Can he find the pass into the centre? It's going to be cleared away, though, before anyone can get there. And now the pressure has changed sides. Wavelength now on the half of the Robins, as Foxy looking to push this one into the centre here, going for a double tap. He gets the double. Jasmine to the ceiling. Foxy going again, bumping DJ out the way of a shot, and Motion left to clear it up in the centre field, but he does a very good job of it, and like they're going to be freestyling towards the net here. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't work in their favour.
It doesn't work in their favour, and as you said, Jasmine getting that goal is a good push to mean that there is some sign of hope for the Goats. It is, though, still very heavy-handed and doing in a strong favour for the Robins, as they are just controlling the ball in the field. It goes to them, they have a good control of defense. It goes back, it goes all the way in towards that goal. Natsumi, who we did talk about before the stream, being one of the stronger players on this Goats team, is pulling a lot of weight and is showing that they're playing a pivotal role in either getting the pinch to be forced, into getting a flow of play being forced. So they're doing their best to help this team get to where they are. We do see Hazard, though, is playing it up the side, so kind of, again, trying their own cheeky tactics, maybe realizing that if the Robins are going to try and be a bit silly into us, we'll be very silly into them, playing it up the wall, playing it as far out as possible, so if no one can get it, you can at least find a pass to go in, but it's not doing too successful, though, as it is just going straight back to these Robins over and over again, and Roberts proving that they are the Goats, rather than the Goats themselves.
Yeah, 100% now with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. The lead still with the Robins. They haven't really had to do too much else in this game. They've just sort of styled with the ball and tried to score some fancy mechanical plays, but unfortunately for them, it hasn't happened just yet. 1 minute and 17 seconds, though, for them to do that, so they've got a lot of time to score a nice goal, but on the other side of it, you've also got Goats, who are looking to equalise this game up. They're only 1 goal behind. There's plenty of time left. Sumi takes the strike now, push an end to the freestyling. And motion there, trying to come off the ceiling with low boost, it seems, not able to get there. Back on level terms. And we haven't seen that since, I think, the first 18 seconds.
Yeah, we haven't seen this for a long while, and it is going to be a case of now that the Robins, where they're getting a little bit cocky, are going to fall back into that position where they're realizing that, okay, we've taken a couple goals off of these teams and we've given them some in return. And I think they're realizing that you can't underestimate anything, you can't judge a book by its cover. If they've done their research, they'll know that Natsumi is a really, really strong tool on this side. Jasmine takes a shot far out, though, trying to be another pivotal tool in this match alone, but still doesn't quite get there. Allowing it to come forward, but Natsumi, again, stops it. So now we can maybe see the Robins work out if they can get past Natsumi, or if they can stop Natsumi in some way, shape, or form. They can then break through the rest of the team. Jasmine and Hazard aren't letting that be the complete stop to that thing, though, but motion breaks through that defense like butter. Goes for about half of an aerial play, gets it in, 3-2, 20 seconds left. We could see Hatsumi get another one to tie it up again, but all we have to see now is Robins just playing a bit more safer, playing it more passively, instead of getting a bit too in their own boots and trying to go for these cheeky plays.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. But I don't think they will stop. I think they've already chosen their play style for this game. Just win the game and have some fun doing it, it seems to be at the moment, but Natsumi definitely being a very good driving force for the Goats. Already they're 770 points without the game ending, possibly more if they can find themselves an overtime here. Hazard sends a shot in, but motion will get any doubts away there. And now with 1 second remaining, it's in a difficult position to get towards anywhere dangerous, but Hazard will keep it up, and Foxy now onto the backboard. Can he get the double tap to finish it off? He can, but it won't be in. It'll hit the floor just before touching the net. And he nearly got that fancy play he was looking for with a nice fast double tap to end the game, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But the Robins do take game number 1, 3-2. After many, many missed attempts and shots, they still managed to get the job done.
They still managed to get it done, and they did it in quite a close-tied fashion. Sometimes you can be a bit greedy, you can be a bit funky, you can go for these mechanical plays, the sillier plays, and you can still get away with it. This shows that Robins, being a strong team, they can go ahead and get away with that sort of stuff. But the Goats aren't going to let them slip away with it quite too quickly. Natsumi was that driving force that was really allowing the attacking prowess to come from the Goats. Jasmine, of course, getting that clutch goal there that really put the Robins on the edge and only allowed them to get a 3-2 lead. With teams like this, if you can force the Robins into a mistake, or you can force them to play a little bit too passively, they're going to be in a shaky situation where you can take advantage of that and start scoring goals again. The Robins have a very, very strong defensive force when they want it. So it'll be good to see how they can adapt to what we saw against them just earlier with the Dragons, where they kind of let it be a bit lackluster. They had it when they needed it, and then were offensive the rest of the time. But in this matchup, you're going to need it a lot, because you can either just sit and stall out your opponents and just wait for the goal to come to you, or you can just hammer goals in to a point where there's no point in them trying to score because they've already got 4 or 5 put past them.
Yeah, I do think this game's just going to be the case of time before the Robins here will just be able to take a clean sweep. They are not obviously playing full focus. They're definitely having a little bit of a mess around with certain things, but they are scoring some nice goals and scoring some nice end products. But you got to give credit as well to the GOATs, who are trying their absolute best to take down this menace of a team who have, as you said before, just taken out the team leaders, probably putting them now at the top after today. DJ starting the game off with a bang, though, starting the game off the right way there with a goal. And that's exactly what you want to see if you are a fan of the Robins. They are definitely starting the game off strong in game number 2. And if they take game number 2, then you know what comes next after that one. Game number 3. But 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in this game, and that's what the one that is right now. And now it's up to the GOATs to come back here and not go on a landslide of goals in their net.
Let's hope they can't let that landslide fall in. Nearly letting a second in, but they have been quite good in keeping that ball quite close. We did see Hazard and Jasmine did have some plays where they are going back and forth, a little bit of a 1-2, trying to get it in between the defence and catching a slip. We've seen Natsumi taking a play in there from Hazard, doesn't quite get it. Jasmine goes all the way in to maybe try and get that next one in, but doesn't get very, very far in it. As Notion brings it all the way back, and now we're just seeing that pivotal case we're seeing over and over again. Robins just get a bit silly on the ball, they get far forward, they can score a goal from it. If not, they're not too bad of a team that they're not going to be able to defend it again. So it's going to be a case of cracking down on when these patterns happen. We see a lovely chip coming out there from Hazard, and then doesn't go all the way through. Jasmine gets to touch on it, but passes it to the wrong side. And this is the thing I'm seeing a lot from the GOATs here, is they're getting the plays orchestrated, they're just not orchestrating them properly. And we're just seeing them being read like a book the second a mistake happens. Another attempt there from Foxy from very far out. Doesn't get very, very far in. It's still 1-0 with about 3 minutes left, so there's no ties yet. There's no dominating goals. But currently, we can just see maybe the Robins just sit there and stall for a bit and just take a 1-0 lead. It's not an entertaining win, but it's still a win to see.
Yeah, most definitely it is. And I think, there's a lot of time left on the clock here, so we've got to give them a little bit more of a chance before we write them off completely. But I do think, with a team of the calibre of the Robins and the skill they have on board, the only way they can really lose here is the opponent completely, and then they get some cheeky goals in when they're not expected. But other than that, I do think the Robins have got the quality to sweep this game. They definitely have shown it in the first game and half of this game. They've definitely shown why they can sweep this game. So it's just up to them now and their mentalities. If they go too far on the egos front, and I'm not too sure they'll be able to pull off a greatest result. But Hazard there getting a beat on, and it's going to be followed up by Natsumi. DJ luckily getting the save there before any more danger could be caused. Foxy going in for a redirect attempt there, not able to get there. DJ looking for a demo. He does get a bump in the end, but Natsumi does come back to clear the ball away from danger. Foxy plays it onto the backboard into the centre. Motion tries to get the shot. DJ, last man here, trying to take it past Natsumi. Gets that first touch, gets the second into the centre. And now the flip reset, maybe a double tap to finish it up. White. Almost a perfect play, but just wasn't meant to be there for DJ, and it's back in possession with the GOATs.
The GOATs getting good possession on it, and the Robins still just going for, the bread and butter plays and going through all around. They could use it to experiment, really. Like, if anything, with all due respect to the GOATs right now, DJ and the Robins just have an amazing flow of time just to kind of mess about, test things out for future matches, see if they can pull something off, get their mechanical skill going. There's a very, very open goal there for DJ to score into. Motion tries to go for it as well, doesn't quite get it very far. Foxy comes on through and doesn't get it very far either. And, both of these teams are just playing very well. It does go all the way through with Hazard scoring that. That was from very, very far out, so that could have either been one of two things. They really caught the Robins off guard, or the Robins were just letting them have a goal, saying, you know what, we feel bad, have a goal to your name. It does ruin their goal difference a little bit, but it does help these teams at the bottom boost their confidence a little bit and go through. So either way of that situation, you can say that's a good call from both sides of the team. Motion, though, quick reaction, does go for another shot, bounces right over the line. DJ doesn't get quite hold of it, and Foxy fails to get it again. And now we are seeing the GOATs actually waking up a little bit. But is that going to be enough of a wake-up call to give them that urge to take this game too, and put the Robins on their feet a little bit?
Yeah, it's a questionable game as of now. Jasmine looking to find a shot here. Motion clearing that one away. Completely depends on what the Robins do, I believe, in terms of where this game's going to. The ball is in their court, and it depends on what they do with the ball. That matters. They're going to take it to the sky there. Jasmine gets a touch away. 48 seconds remaining. Foxy is going to play the touch off the corner. Natsumi now towards the net. DJ clears away this time. Foxy to meet it in the middle. Gets bumped just as a touch was about to come out from that play. But it's going to be cleared back to Foxy again. He'll just take a strike here. Natsumi gets there. Motion just a second too late on that demo. Otherwise, it'd have found its way into the back of the net. DJ to the backboard now. Natsumi gets the clear. Foxy's last. Can he get the touch forward? He gets it past Jasmine. Tries to pass it past Natsumi. But again, Natsumi coming in as the carry with 3 saves already. Looking to tally those saves up more as we possibly are going to be falling into overtime here. But we're not going to speak too soon because we know that the Robins are like to score those final 10-second goals. But it could be against them here. It's what a redirect from me. An absolutely filthy goal, which nobody expected, not even me. And he's found the bottom corner, putting DJ very, very awkward and out of position. And that is exactly what you need to do to win a game of Rocket League. And this could go to 1-1.
Could be going 1-1 in games. Like, I am just flabbergasted at that goal as well. Like, you've seen Natsumi just taking it from an angle, going for it. It looked like it's going in a post, but DJ just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the GOATs, congratulations. You have taken our words out of our mouth. You have fed us a humble piece of pie. And we're going to be going to a game 3 here that couldn't be the one that is completely deciding if the Robins, just win this entire thing. The Robins were the GOATs in the situation. The GOATs are now showing why they're the GOATs. Playing amazingly. Sometimes just playing with all your heart is all you need to go through to this. Hazard with that amazing goal from very, very far across the pitch. I think that might have been Robins being a little bit, cheesy, saying, okay, here, have a goal. If not, that could have been caught completely off guard. But Natsumi really drilling it in that you can catch these big players off guard like that in the last few seconds. 2-1 to the GOATs, 1-1 overall, and that is going to be a good pace setter going into this next game. I think if the GOATs can still play like that, whether that's just playing their heart and brute force, or trying to find those narrow passages where they can get a cheeky goal in, they could maybe start taking games in this series, maybe pump it to a game 5, maybe even sweep it going through. I won't put too much on them, but I are giving Robins a run for their money, especially after how that game ended.
Yeah, and they did humble the Robins there. Now I expect to see probably the Robins to come with a bit more fire and anguish in game number 3 after letting that one slip out of their hands. And they definitely had a chance to score maybe 3 or 4 goals in that game, but they didn't take them. As you said, maybe they were being too kind, maybe they were having a bit too much of a laugh, and they've finally been humbled because of it. And it is by the GOATs team here. And, we were mentioning earlier, these game differentials do make a difference in the end if it is close at the top end of the table, and it will determine who takes the prize home for the first place. So, maybe something that they're not going to think about now, but they might think about it in the final week when they're in head-to-head battle with the team, and they go, oh, remember that game we could have scored 5 more goals, and they didn't take them. Well, here comes Foxy though, gets the flip reset, passes it into the as easy as you like it, really, puts it into the back of the net, and it just seemed like, all the GOATs could do is watch in fear of this team as the first goal does go in for the Robins.
The first goal goes in for the Robins, and they just take another one where it's just that awkward angle they love to be scoring from. They seem to be knuckling down a lot more in this game. I think they've realised that you can be silly in that game 1, you can try and be silly in game 2, and then maybe if you get a game 3, you can then go ahead and take it all. But in this one, they've noticed, okay, these GOATs, they can't be underestimated. They've had at least 1 win in this entire season, reducing the GOATs to have a very open play here now. So it's going to be a case of how the Robins going to adapt to actually prove themselves that they need to be at the top of this table. They need to be where they are in this control of the match. So it's going to be nice to see how these players change up to come through these games, as it's just back and forth again, and the Robins has starting to knuckle down, whereas the GOATs are starting to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to give it to the GOATs. The GOATs are still trying their hardest here. And, Hazard catching that one on the bounce. Able just to slam that one home. And, wow. That's all that can really be said about that goal. No one challenged him early, and he's made them pay for it again. Putting that ball to the back of the net comfortably. And it's exactly what you want to be seeing from the GOATs going forward. But now we're drawn back at 1-1 again. Maybe the same situation as the prior game, but a little bit too soon to comment on that one. But, yeah, wow. I think it does come down to the Robins needing to play a little bit more meaningful with what they're doing at the moment, because I do think they are doing things maybe certainly a little bit out of the fun of it, rather than trying to just completely win this game and just take it the way they should. Maybe they just want the best of 5 for content. They want the 5th game.
Maybe they are going for content. Maybe they are allowing them to just take those wins, the confidence. Maybe they really, really are slacking to a team like the GOATs. Of course, we do see Jasmine going up there, trying to get a good goal in, but doesn't quite get the full way. Motion pulling it back. And now that we're seeing that the wake-up call, I guess you could say, coming from the GOATs, they're getting as far as they can, and we're having to see the Robins react. They do go and get a second goal in, so yeah, it gives them that bit of a cushion. They now could be heading towards that second game win, and they could maybe take a sweep 3-1. But at the same time, the GOATs are known, especially within this series, to get those last-minute goals or those awkward goals that they can quickly take a claim of, and Natsumi is important in the orchestration of that. Foxy does put it straight forward though, and does look like it could just take another one of the situations, but Hazard takes it into the sky, and I think we're starting to see that the GOATs are reacting to the style of play they want to be reacting to, and are allowing themselves to be free and flowing in this match compared to the static nature they had in the first one.
Yeah, it's lovely to see. It's lovely to see they're starting to sort of come out of their shell a bit more and play the way that they can do. And Natsumi there finding an easy equaliser, as simple as you like. Again, from an overcommit off the Robins. Just need to be rotating properly, really, to avoid those from going in. But it just, brings the game back to a tie again, 2-2, and it does make us question where this game could go, because if the Robins aren't careful, they could be the ones on the losing end of the series.
Yeah, the Robins have to be careful here. They are getting it close to the opposing side of the goal, but where we are seeing the GOATs waking up a bit more, we're seeing they are allowing themselves to get closer and closer to winning this game, and that means they're only a game closer. Foxy brings it on back. Doesn't allow for anything to go any further than they want it to be. 3-2, but with the play we've been seeing, I can quite easily see someone from the GOATs bringing another goal back. Natsumi, as well as Hazard, have had amazing goals from them, and Jasmine has been showing a very, very good piece of team play. Maybe she could be the one who takes another goal in. Maybe she can get another clutch goal, pinching it in. We'll have to see how they adapt to it. 3-2 down, but not the end of it. Of course, just as we say that, DJ gets another goal in. I'm going to be going a little bit closer for the Robins, and I think now they're realizing they have to be a bit more serious given how the GOATs are starting to play.
Yeah, I think we've said it all game, really. When they started the game place, and it was just the fear that maybe they've already fell too far onto one side to the point where they can't really come back from it, because that does happen as well. They do have those times where if you throw for so long on purpose, you'll start throwing for real, because you'll lose all momentum, you'll lose every little piece of warm-up that you've had previously in the last game in a very different series, and you'll come into this game and it won't be the same, and it'll be a lot more difficult for you to come back in it. But now it seems that they've got themselves on the right footing. They're a bit more level-headed than maybe they were. I think they've been a bit humbled recently, and they're starting to play with a little bit more common sense, let's say, in what they're doing. And I think, with this 1 minute and 20 seconds left, there is obviously the option for a comeback to happen. But, it does look a little bit dead and buried, but that's demo. Oh my word, a post hit. I thought that would have been a straight in, but it wasn't. It does hit the post, and it won't go into the net. I thought that was going to be one closer to the comeback attempt, but it wasn't, unfortunately, to be. And Motion, again, looking to read this one, put it towards the net. Hazard dribbling it up, takes it past DJ, and it will just fall to Natsumi to bang it clear as Foxy to the own backboard, looking to get that second, but can't quite meet it. Jasmine taking it up to find a pass into the centre now. Foxy's not able to get the touch. DJ will, though, and DJ's got the flip, I think, with it as well. Tries to go for the musty, but couldn't quite get it at the bottom there. But we do fall now into the final 35 seconds of this game. And the final 35 seconds, really, for a comeback opportunity to happen in game number 3. Otherwise, this one will be going in the favour of the Robins.
Yeah, it looks heavily to be in the favour of the Robins. I don't want to vouch too much against or for anyone, but it just seems that the GOATs aren't one of these teams who can get those last few second clutch goals, especially of how quickly they're losing possession of the ball. They are trying to control it best as they can. They are getting very, very close to the goal as best as they can. We'll just see the likes of Motion and DJ bring it back, allowing to get forward to Fox as quick as possible. There is another last second touch. It does hit the crossbar. It does come on through. Hasn't hit the bottom of the floor yet, so maybe we could see a last second goal just for differential. It does skyrocket through. Tatsumi gets a third on the last ticking second of the game. But we're just going to see kickoff happen. We're just going to see the ball come in play, touch the floor, and then the time's going to tick. It's going to take a lot of skill, courage, and momentum to bring it on through. There we see the Robins just allow it to go through onto that game, allowing them to get that 2-1 lead. One more is all they need for the set. The Goats, they can maybe bring it to another one and take it to a faster game 5. I want to say the Robins have started to kick in a little bit, and they know they have to go ahead and win this. They were maybe going for a bit for the content. They maybe were going a bit to be a bit silly, but I think now they're wanting to actually get that goal in, get that win in, and just say, we gave you some time, we gave you some pace, we tested the waters, but then we baited it too far. We need to take this win, especially when they've got to hold that top area of the table to themselves, because they're still in the lower end of the top half. They can still fall down quite low if they do mess things up later in this set.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they do need to start acting a little bit more responsibly with what they're doing, especially in this game, because it could come back to bite them. As I said in the last week of the season, when they're getting the results for the top spots, and the prize money's involved, that's when it's going to start mattering to them a bit more, and they'll look back at this game if they can't take it in a 3-1 at least and go, oh, games there, we dropped games there, because if we talk about the game honestly, from what we've seen so far and from what we've seen in the previous game, we do know how this Robin team can play at full capacity. And I don't think they've even been at full capacity this evening with the games they've played. We did say in the last one they were doing a lot of questionable things, and they managed to get away with a lot of them. But this game, they're starting to be punished. But the question is, are they taking this seriously enough to get the win overall? Only time will tell us, as we are now going ahead with game number 4. This could be the final game of this evening, or we might be going to a Champions Field for a game 5. But we'll tell as the game has kicked off.
It is going to come down to how these two teams do identify the crucial nature of this game. It'll come down to, will the Robins be able to just score, and show that they have that power, just overwhelm this team and get that final win to just call this game, set, and match. But on the flip side of that, got to look at how we're going to see this from the Goats' perspective. They know that if they win this, that they can take it to another game and go to that Champions to make sure that they get having an extra step at trying to take a 3-2 from one of the most powerful teams in this league. So they'll have to play very, very defensively to make sure goals aren't going in, or play super, super offensively as well to try and make sure they're getting those goals past a powerhouse team at the same time. Right now, it's looking like it can go either way. We are seeing the dominance coming from the Robins as keeping it in this blue half of the field. But that isn't to say that they can step up at any second and giving this very, very, I guess, technical team, we could be calling it, of the Goats, because they're finding, the moments to score rather than the opportunities to score.
Yeah, definitely. As Motion is able to just slam this one home. Not really too difficult for him. He does get a great placed shot. Great power behind it, and it does fall into the net. But again, he was given that much time and space that he could do whatever he wanted with that play. He could have took it to the backboard if he wanted to. He could have took it to the ceiling, but he got the goal. That's all that matters. So they are 1-0 up again, first in this series, and now they can have a little bit more fun with it. Now they've got the first goal. It seems to be the way this team plays. They get themselves a goal for comfort, and they start, trying to do some crazy things. As Foxy there demonstrating exactly on cue what I mean by those crazy things. But no, 3 minutes and 20 seconds remain. This game still isn't over yet. There's still a lot to happen. But the only way this game goes in favour of the Goats is a very heavy messing about from the Robins, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming into that style of play. The Robins are starting to mess about a little bit in front of their own goal. I think they feel a bit too comfortable with this 1-goal lead, especially when it's 3 minutes, like only 3 minutes on the clock. You've got to think, you can't really waste time in this sort of stuff. You can try and keep it up in the air, far to the sides to stop the ball getting to the opposing team, but the Goats can easily capitalise that if they find a slot. Natsumi gets it quite close to the ball. Hazard has a nice follow-up, goes for a shot, doesn't quite get it. So we are seeing them coming back into their own shoes again. They are recognizing patterns that can allow them to get a ball in, but they aren't really taking advantage of it all too much because it just falls straight back to those Robins again.
Yeah, Robins at the moment they're playing with pace, they're playing with mechanics, and they're definitely just trying to hold possession of the ball. Really, they just want to keep possession and play it round. But this is where it does pay, and it nearly falls into the net again from another overcommit from all 3 players. But luckily, DJ gets back in time with the deck, and Motion and Foxy both up for that ball there. I'm just trying to figure out who actually got the. I think it was Motion who got the bump in the end. Bumping Hazard out the way. Foxy was just there for the camera. Wow. Okay, they've turned up the gear there. They've definitely gone. Do you know what? Let's just win this game now. Let's just find another goal and see this one through to the finish line.
They are seeing it through the finish line, and I think they are just recognizing that, you know, they could have won this all along a few games ago. They dominated the first game. They slipped up a little bit in that game after, and now they're just able to just say, you know what? We've given you that taste, we've given you that momentum, but let's just show you why we are in the top half of this table. DJ is taking it up on the side, bringing it quite close to play. Natsumi gets it on an open goal to try and pull it through. Foxy has a dangerously come back, but Motion is there to receive the ball off against the backboard. And now it's just going to come down to that place where you're running into that minute mark. You got 2 goals up. You can start to be a little bit silly again, but try and be silly on the defensive side. But Hazard takes advantage of that silliness of all the players bunched into one spot, getting another goal in. And what a good goal to say as well, because it's from an awkward angle. It could have gone on any point, and it was aiming for that crossbar, but just tucked under, went in. 2-1 with 1.5 minutes left, so we could have bitten our tongue again, and we could be seeing the Goats taking this to a game 5 if they can just get those few more goals in. And the time they have left and the skill they've been showing, I think they can maybe take it. Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt, I think they can definitely come back here if the messing around from Robins continues. The Robins need to make sure they secure the game. So that's something they haven't managed to do throughout the series. They haven't been securing the game before they've started messing around. Otherwise, this game could have easily went 3-0 to them, I believe. Foxy there, nearly coming from the ceiling to get a goal. He will get the goal. Not in the nature he was originally attempting to score the goal, but it still goes in, and that's all that counts for this team at the moment, because it's another win on the belt, and I'm sure they want to make sure it goes well.
They want to make sure it goes as well for them as possible as it can. Of course, maybe got a bit shaken by that goal not going in, and they wanted to take the more skillful approach, the more dramatic approach to how that goal went in. But they decided, you know what, let's just go for a little bit of another cheeky goal on its own behalf and just go for a tap in. Now 3-1, they're in a good position, and really they're just, you know, they're going to be able to control us as they go on and on, bring it back close to their own goal, but no one really there to exploit on the fact there was an open goal with nothing defending it. Motion is bringing it all the way up, and now we can just see them just playing it all the way as far as possible. If you can get the ball away from your goal, even if you don't score, then your opponent isn't scoring. They got less chance of scoring, and as you can see, they're just rocking it all towards that goal. If it hits the backboard, it hits the backboard. There is something to come for it, but it is actually a lot close. Last second of momentum, but with a few seconds left on the clock, there is no reason to try and score. The Goats have just got to wait this out and let the salt be rubbed in less. As we see, the game does tick that last second. The Robins take it in a swift run. Condolences, of course, commiserations to the Robins. You did take that one game, the Goats, sorry, you did take that one game off of the Robins, but it wasn't quite enough to defeat this powerhouse, and it's giving Robins a nice, comfortable win going into the next few weeks of the Welsh Esports League.
Yeah, they've took down the champions and one of the weak teams tonight, and that's all they have to do. Just get those 2 wins, and I don't know whether that puts them top. I'm not too sure with the leaderboards, but I'm sure it definitely puts them right in the mix for it anyway. No, really good performances, both games ending 3-1, so happy days for them. 2 3-1 wins, 6-2 overall, not too bad at all on the game differential, going up 4. So yeah, no, all you could really ask for them in that game. They knew exactly what they had to do, and they managed to complete the task. Very shaky at times though, but they managed to finish it. But no, that is our final game for you, everybody, this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure to be back on the booth again. Obviously, I missed last week, so it's good to be back this week, and hopefully back next week as well with more action. But yeah, the next Rocket League action for you guys is next week. But obviously, EsportsWales has throughout the week for different games. So make sure you tune into the streams on other days as well if you're interested in any of the games that EsportsWales offers. But no, that will be all from Rocket League this week. We'll see you again next week. They start at 7 PM BST, the stream. So make sure you don't miss it. Be there for more action and to see your favourite players play. But that from us tonight, that's all. So we'll see you later. Goodbye now.